So like this seems like a very profound thing. Are there a lot of people in the world actively working and researching on these different things?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would say hundreds of groups, if not thousands, across the planet in all sorts of different universities.
But I would still say there are not enough people working on it. I mean, there should be more energy and more people put into it, because every mind is creative in its own way. So I would say anyone with the passion of creating different materials or working with materials should put in their energy, put in their creativity for maybe a better future.
Mehya is right. I mean, this is a creative process. It's very much like a work of art. No two people will come up with the same exact material. It really depends on how you think, on how you look at the world of materials around. It's very much similar to cooking, I would say. Look, you go into the kitchen, you have a bunch of constituents, ingredients with which you make your food. It's pretty much the same way. In this case, the constituents are the periodic table, the elements in the periodic table, and it's all based on your imagination. So even if you're using the same elements, you could create all sorts of different combinations with those elements. And could
also
be,
the way you cook them would also affect their property. For example, the taste of that.
Look, no two chefs will give you the same food, right? So it would take really special skills to come up with that exact same taste. It's exactly the same thing with materials engineering. No two materials engineers will give you the same material if they're making it from scratch, and there is no established way of doing it. So
in case they're being creative, of course. If there is a standard, then of course we'll have the same thing. But when we're trying to be creative, I mean, the possibilities are endless.
So is this like
too much cinnamon and the other doesn't? So.
Is this like putting different combinations in the quantum computing and then seeing the results, and like that's the creativity you're talking about? Is like it's
exactly
exactly. Yes.
And it also translates into the lab. So for example, imagine even if someone is not engaged in the computational side but just the experimental side, it really depends on that person's intuitions and the creative process of that particular person for how to come up with the next materials, which would be fascinating. Everyone has their own method. I mean, there is no right way of doing this.
Absolutely.
It's all dependent on how the person thinks and feels and approaches materials engineering. So Mehya is right. I think we would need as many people as possible because every mind will come up with their own formula.
I mean, everyone has a different intuition, and once they follow that, different outcomes will, of course, be possible.
And we should be embracing the uniqueness everyone has, because it would bring out so much interesting things into this world that I'm truly inspired by that, actually.